Shit, we're away. We're in the Norwegian Sea for some reason.
Alright, I'm going to start off. I'm going to scan the horizon for contact before we get.
Okay. Okay. I'll let Firth explain everything because he knows more about this thing than I do. I just follow orders.
Alright. So yeah, I always start off immediately into a mission. I scan the horizon to see if we're in visual range to start.
So if you want, you can go up like this.
Set up and running. I'll start
Okay.
on the tutorial.
Oh, you're scanning with the attack periscope.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Visual contact, escort, or no, merchant.
Where at?
Merchant and escort relative is 330.
Just checking observation scope.
And I think we are near the front of the convoy.
Oh no, don't say that. 330, did you say?
Yep.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Alright, so let's make a left turn to course.
Okay, if you look through that scope, Warden, just walk up to it and right click, left click your mouse on it. And you'll see there's a thing out there. Ship. Right turn to... Oh, you're doing it, I thought. Firth?
I thought you were doing teaching, so I was going to start.
No.
Yeah, left to 290, please. Full ahead.
Left to 290, full ahead.
Yeah, so the convoy should be crossing around 0 pretty quickly.
I don't see anything.
Did you not see him?
You can
Right.
scroll wheel up to zoom in.
Yeah. Turn it back to 330, somewhere where
No.
it was.
Convoy is now at about 030.
You see him?
At 330, I don't see anything.
No,
we're
030. 30 degrees.
Scan right, scan right.
Alright, 30 degrees, I still don't see squat.
Left click and it should zoom in. Let's have a look.
Off we go turn.
Okay.
Yeah, Talazero was wanting to play this with us, but he thought it was at 4. I tried to tell him, I said, it's going to be around 1 o'clock today.
Okay, contacts are now bearing about 65 degrees.
Set on course 290.
Thank you.
So force,
Oh,
okay, that's rudder control. Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how much do you know about World War II submarine?
I know they go underwater and they shoot missiles at stuff.
Yeah, torpedoes, actually. Yeah, so that's a good start. All right, so yeah, we'll start with the basic helmet controls because that'll be the most useful station to get you started on. So yeah, so over here we have the primary rudder and engine controls.
Okay.
So you can just click on rudder control and that'll put you on the rudder controls. So go ahead.
Left click it.
Yeah, left click to get on, and is it right click to get on?
Yeah, no, just walk away.
All right. So what am I looking at?
Okay, so you now have the compass in front of you, and to the right of that is sort of the rudder meter, and so you can now press the A and D keys to turn the rudder. To get that
A
shot.
and D.
Yep. Should be, at least. Or am I misremembering?
A and D. Alpha, Delta.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alpha and Delta are your usual left-right for the rudder.
There you go.
Oh, never. I got it.
And when you bring it back to 0, if you press W, it brings it dead 0. Centers the rudder again.
Yeah, and so the compass wheel gives you your magnetic bearing, your course direction that you're traveling in. in increments of 10 degrees on the outer wheel, and then the single digits on the inner. So right now we're heading at bearing of 290. So you can, right-click to get out of that. And so above that we have the engine order telegraph, which sets our engine settings. And you can basically, to change an engine setting, you can just click on the word. And if you shift-click, it changes both engines at the same time. So go ahead.
Okay, so we're going full speed on both.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, exactly that. So yeah, and so yeah, you can control speed with that. You can also switch between the diesel engine and the electric engine. The diesel is used to run on the surface because it requires air, and then when we dive, we need to switch to the electric engine, which runs off the battery. And
where's that at?
It's on the wheel near the bottom here. So yeah, you have your 5 forward speeds, and then there's the selections for the diesel. There's an attention setting we don't usually use. Stop is stop, of course. Electric engine. Both engines 10 slower will reduce the engine speed slightly. Charge batteries. When you're using the diesel engine, you can recharge the batteries. And then there's the 4 reverse speeds.
So is that under rudder control?
No, they're two different.
The engine order telegraph.
Okay, I don't see where it says switching to diesel to... Oh, I see it now. Okay, diesel.
Yeah.
Electric.
Yeah.
So diesel's when you're on the surface. Electric is when you're submerged.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And the diesels are also critical to recharge the batteries. And so just as a practice, go ahead and set the electric engine and then set it back to full speed.
Okay, on both of them?
Yeah, both engines.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they go back to full speed.
Yeah, as soon as the order is acknowledged, you can just set. Okay, that's full speed reverse.
Oh, I'm going. Did I go full reverse speed?
Yeah.
That's a stern, so we want ahead.
That's it. You've got it now, mate.
Sorry.
That happens. So yeah, and put us back on.
I see.
Diesel again, and then back on full ahead. We're going to run on the surface for a little while.
Okay. I got it.
Yeah,
so what's the attention then?
Oh.
Attention is not really used at the moment. Yeah, it doesn't really have much of a use case for anything at the moment. I mean, maybe in some very specialized circumstances, but nothing that we need to worry about at the basic
You need
level.
to set that back to full speed ahead, Warden.
Did I not do it?
No. You could see the ones on diesel engine and the 2 little knobs you hold are down the bottom. So if you click it onto left shift and go full speed, they'll both move up to there, to the full speed sign. That's going reverse. You've gone to reverse again, mate.
Sorry.
That's it, there you go. That's full speed ahead now.
Yeah, alright, so we're going to keep surface cruising at full speed for a little while, but let's turn left to course 260.
I'm going to turn us to 260, Warden?
Warden, I'll let you take that. So full left rudder until we're at about 260 degrees.
Am I going the right way?
Yeah, that's the right way. Yeah, full left rudder.
If you glance slightly to your right, you'll see the rudder control. One's red, one's coloured red, one's green.
Yeah.
The red one is the left side, and the green one is right.
Okay, and we want to go to 2 to left?
Yeah, going to go left to what was it?
260, please. Yeah, so if you hold A, it'll turn the rudder further.
Yeah, just keep A and then just let go full rudder. And then you can bring it back again.
I'm not really... Okay, so the middle one, we're at 279. You want 260?
Yeah.
I'm okay. Sorry, guys. I'm seeing what you're saying.
Yeah, no worries.
Then once we get to 260, I put it back to 0 on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, perfect.
So
Yeah,
what's the one on the left? The gauge on the left.
so that is our speed meter registering our forward speed in knots. So we're currently cruising at 18 knots.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, so 18 knots is our maximum speed running on the surface. If we dive and use electric engines, our top speed is 7 knots. It's quite a bit slower.
Okay, and I'm assuming, depending on the type of ship all the speeds and top speeds and everything are just different.
Yeah, I mean, there's only one playable submarine in the game right now, so.
Oh,
So
okay.
So those are the numbers for us. Yeah, I mean, the enemy ships can go at different speeds. Yeah, so that's sort of basic steering for the boat. The other useful thing at that station is sort of to the right, between the engine telegraph and the rudder controls on the right side here is another meter, and this records the battery charge in kiloamp hours.
Is that the one with the 3 knobs?
Yeah, 3 screws or whatever on it. Yeah, it goes from 0 to 9. Yeah, and so that just reads out our battery charge. And so right now we're at full charge at 9, and if we run it down to 0, we have no power left for the electric engines. So this is sort of critical when you're submerged. You can only run as long as your batteries.
Which one am I looking at?
Right here beside the rudder controls.
Oh, the black. Okay, gotcha. So right now our batteries are fully charged.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. So we're in good shape. But yeah, so this is a sort of a critical thing to keep an eye on when submerged, because if you run out of battery, you can't escape anymore, and you're kind of vulnerable.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. I guess. Yeah. So I think probably for this mission we'll have you run this station, running the helm and the engines. But let's
Okay.
get you trained up on some of the other things. So let's start with probably dive officer now. So this is sort of all the information related to diving the boat and getting submerged and staying submerged.
Okay.
So at the moment we are on the surface, and our boat is positively buoyant, which means it rises up and then naturally stays on the surface. And so
Okay.
in order to submerge, we have to make the boat neutrally buoyant, so that its natural tendency is to neither rise nor sink.
Okay.
And so to do this, we have a set of main ballast tanks, which, when they're filled, bring us to neutral buoyancy. And so there are 2 sets of controls to fill the tanks. And so the first one is immediately to your left here, these red wheels. These are the vent for the forward main ballast tanks. Yeah, go ahead and open those. And so those are now filling. So if we go over here now, where I'm standing, so you see that we have a set of gauges here.
Yes.
And on the left side, we have a gauge that's the bottom left gauge is the amount of water in the forward ballast tank. And so you should be able to see it's filling up right now.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, we're half full, and so yeah, it's completely full. There's 50 cubic meters of water in the tank.
Okay.
So while that fills, in the back here, at the other end of the control room, is the second set of tank vents. So go ahead and open those. Again, it's just a set of these red wheels. You click on it, and your character. And yeah, so now water is rushing into the aft tank. And so that will begin to fill. And so in the meantime, we can see that the forward tank is full. It's up to 50. And so we no longer need to keep the forward vent open. So I'm going to go ahead and close the forward vent. Which is just clicking on it again.
Okay.
And so, because normally if you don't deliberately want to let water in, you want to keep these closed, just so you don't forget about them. So yeah, normal procedure for a dive is you open both tanks, you let the water fill in, and then you close both vents. So yeah, so the aft one is full now, so go ahead and thank you. There, so we are now neutrally buoyant. So we are on the surface. Since we started on the surface, we're going to stay on the surface, but we now have the ability to submerge if we want.
Oh, okay.
And so before we do that, we're going to need the electric engines, of course, because the diesels only work on the surface. So I will switch us to the electric by selecting the electric engine option, and then back to full speed. All right, so the diesel engines kick off, if you can hear that, and then the electrics come back.
Okay.
And so now, right beside me here, these are the dive planes. So, yeah, you can left click to get on the controls. And so we have these two sets of dive planes, which are like little wings at the front and the back of the submarine. And they can be used to try to sort of steer the submarine a little bit like an airplane. And so the front dive planes are controlled with the W and D keys. So go ahead, try those. And there's a little dial on the left side there, so the left bottom little dial. So as you press A and D, you'll be able to see the. Oh no, those are the aft planes. So using the arrow keys.
A and D. Sorry.
Really? Okay, there you go. Yeah, A and D is for the forward planes, and so
Sorry.
yeah. No, well, it's fine. So yeah, basically straightforward. Down will sort of direct the submarine down. Up will direct the submarine up. And so the aft planes use the left and right arrow keys to do the same thing. And so since we are on the surface and we want to go to periscope depth, you can set both sets of planes in the down position, and the submarine will start to go down. And so on the left side, there is the shallow depth meter, which goes from 0 to 25 meters. So you can see right now we're passing 7 meters.
Gotcha.
Yep. On the far right side is the deep depth meter, which goes from 0 to 200. It's a much larger scale.
All right,
so
I'm with you.
Deep. So yeah, we're passing 9 meters now. Periscope depth is usually between sort of 11 to 13 meters. Let's level off here at 11. Yep, very good. Yeah, and so you can use if you want to perfectly center the planes, it's the up arrow for the aft planes and the Z key, Zulu, for the forward planes, just to get them perfectly centered. And a slight upward drift. That's interesting. The tank's not completely full. No, they are. Okay, so we're drifting upwards, so you need to go down on the planes to pull us back down. Yeah, we've surfaced again. Yeah, so these submarines are a little unstable near the surface. Like, when you're at periscope depth, you have to keep an eye on them, or they'll accidentally surface. There we go. Yeah, we can level off here at 11 or 12. Yeah, perfect. And so yeah, the dive officer role is absolutely critical during an attack, because you need to make sure you don't accidentally surface like we just did, because that will get you spotted by the destroyer.
All right. So when we're in attack position, this is about the depth we want to be, correct?
Yeah, about there, between 11 and 13 usually.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is good. So that's the procedure for a standard dive. So yeah, bring us back to the surface with upward plane. There we go. And yeah, once we're above about 8 meters, we're on the surface again. So you can level out the planes now that we're on the surface. So yeah, we don't, so since the depth is measured to the bottom of the boat, we never actually rise above about 6 meters. The bottom of the boat is always 6 meters below the water level. Yep, so we are now surfaced, and the planes are neutral. So at this point, we can switch back to the diesel engine, so I'll let you handle that this time. So on the engine telegraph, you can put us on diesels. Yeah, on both engines.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. Practice. Okay, and since we've burned a lot of battery power, we can actually go to charge batteries now to activate the charging system. Yep, and then back to full speed ahead. Yep. So now the charging is activated, then it'll recharge us over the next sort of 5 minutes or so. If you take a look at the battery meter, we're down to about 8 kiloamp hours. So we burned 1 kiloamp hour just in the few minutes we were.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Wow, that's because the faster you go, the faster you burn battery, and it's very non-linear. It's sort of, I guess you could say it's exponential. And so if you're going full speed, yeah, you burn through your whole battery in like 15 minutes. If you go slow, then you can stay underwater for well over an hour. So yeah, so we are back and good. I'm going to take another look at the periscope just to make sure we're not in trouble. We haven't turned, have we? No. I have lost sight of the convoy. Okay. That's interesting. All right, let's make a right turn to bearing 350, please.
Mm-hmm.
350.
Yes, please. Yeah, that should put us back on an intercept course with the convoy. Yeah, so every time a mission starts, there's always one convoy loads in, and however many submarines have players on them load.
So is it possible that we could actually, by accident, run into another submarine?
Oh, yeah, it could happen. I don't know if I've ever tried a submarine-on-submarine collision, but well, I mean, there's no AI submarines. So any other submarines are allies.
Other players, right?
Yeah, other players. Yeah, we have in this game we have 3 subs on, and we have been seeing radio transmissions from them.
Oh yeah, but it's the first one was the course they were on was 310, I think.
Yeah, that shouldn't. No, that will put them a little bit behind it. Yeah. I'm just gonna send them a message letting them know that we're doing training and they can go ahead with.
All right, 350.
Thank you.
Are you doing it with the radio?
Yeah, radio.
Yep, Morse code. Yep.
You mean you're actually using Morse code?
Well, you type the word in you want to type.
I do it myself. I type in the letters, it converts it to the Morse.
Okay, I was like, because man, me and Talazero was just like, man, we've gotta learn Morse code to play this.
Now, as you type it, you've got to do it slow though, otherwise all the words go together. So you like tap your keyboard for whatever you want to send,
Yeah,
and it's
there we
space
go.
when you
Okay.
finish the word.
I told them we're going to give them a head start.
If you press C, Warden, you can go to radio log, and when you go to radio log, you can see what they've been sending.
So is that they? Okay, this is okay. So is it? Can you see what we send?
No,
What message
we
send?
that's one of the biggest weaknesses of the game that they should patch at some point. Is we can't see what we've transmitted,
Okay.
just what we've received. And I guess on the topic of the radio, we can only send or transmit while on the surface or at periscope depth. The radio doesn't work when we're diving deep. Yeah. Alright, no sign of the convoy at the moment, so I'll just let us cruise for a couple more minutes. Alright, so that was so we've done the helm station and we've done the dive station. Oh, yeah, so we can take a look here at the ballast, again, the ballast indicators. So yeah, so right now both tanks are full based on the bottom left and right dial.
Yes.
The top dials are air pressure in the tanks. That's not really important. The middle dial is our reserve air pressure, which is kind of important because we have to conserve that. Because we can only recharge our air pressure on the surface. You can't recharge it on the water. So, but go ahead and turn the wheel because that wheel controls the air, pushing air into the ballast tanks.
And how do I turn the wheel?
I think it's mouse, click and drag. Yeah, so go ahead and open it up all the way. There we go. So yeah, now you can see the water is being pushed out of the main ballast tank.
Okay.
And so once it reaches 0, close the wheel again.
Ah, dear. Requesting convoy speed estimation over. Don't give them too many powdered milk rations until they learn to behave.
All right.
Yeah, so we've now emptied the ballast tanks, which makes us lighter. So, I mean, we would float up, but we're already at the surface. But it makes us lighter and it makes us faster. So we're now cruising back up to 8.
I see now. I see. That makes sense. Okay. So,
Yeah.
is there a way to recharge your compressor?
Ah, yes, very good question. So follow me to the back. So here at the back, we have the air compressor, which you can just toggle on and off with the mouse. So go ahead.
Hello. Sorry to bust in on the party, boys. What we're going to try and do, we're just trying to test something out with Pete. So we may go a bit kamikaze, but it's in the name of science, we're calling it. So I'm going to give Pete a target on the attack periscope and the angle of bow. He's then going to home in on that target on hydrophones and try and give us a speed and a range based solely on hydrophones. So between the two of us, we may then have an impact or a miss, but I don't think that's been tried or tested.
Yeah, sounds like fun.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to try and do. Whether it works or not, we don't know, so we apologise in advance that if we get things wrong, or if we hit and it'll scatter, we apologise in advance.
Yeah, just make sure he knows the hydrophone difference between a merchant and a submarine, okay?
Yeah. No. Press. It's good to see you didn't teleport to the front anyway. Well done, mate.
Who said we
probably didn't want us to install the game. He's like, I'm on the here.
Who said we hadn't teleported to the front?
Well, whatever. Ryan, see, you're more than welcome to. You are absolutely welcome to, brother. You're absolutely welcome to. Right, I'm just going to go and explain the bus to back in a sec.
Okay.
Good on you, boys.
Alright, we can turn the compressor off now. Cool. Yeah, so I guess one thing while we're here, so on the other side here in the back, there's the control for the bilges. So the bilges are where water that leaks into the boat collects. It collects sort of underneath the floor.
Okay.
And
Gotcha.
it needs to be, it basically adds additional ballast, and so it'll drag us down. But so right now, the bilges only fill up if we dive below 150 meters. If we go below 150, we start to leak, we take on water slowly, and we get heavier, which is a problem. And so in order to balance it out, we need to eventually pump it out. The problem is that the bilge pump is very noisy, and so if we use it near enemies, they can hear us when we run it. So it's something that we only run when we're well ensured we've escaped from the enemy. The other helpful thing beside it here, besides the bilge level gauge, is another air pressure gauge. And so air pressure is full at the current level of 210. And so that's how you can tell when it's full.
Okay.
And so, yeah, you want to try and make sure you don't use too much air during normal maneuvers, because if you run out, it's hard to blow ballast and hard to get back to the surface. I had a mission once where I had too much ballast, and not enough air, and I actually could not get back to the surface because I used up too much of my air. And so I ended up, I died because I couldn't get back.
Okay.
So, very traumatic memory. Yeah, and I've completely lost track of where the convoy is during all of this. So I think I am going to order a dive to periscope depth. So I'll let the two of you handle all the commands for that.
Okay, open it. Are the tanks open?
No, tanks are empty. So yeah, let's begin by filling ballast tanks forward and aft.
Forward ballast tank is open. Ballast tank
Aft is open. I'm filling up the aft.
Okay.
All right, switch us over to
diesel
electric
engines.
Ahead half.
Gonna dead, half speed done. Okay.
Yeah.
And where's the? Oh, here's the pressure. Okay.
Yep. And we wait for it to fill again.
Okay. I will dive the boat to periscope depth then.
All right. Forward ballast is full. Aft ballast is full. Go ahead and close the vents.
Aft is closed.
All right. Forward vents are closed. All right. Ship is rigged for dive.
We are diving.
All right. So if you follow me back here to the radio cabin. So the reason I want us to dive is we have a piece of equipment here called the hydrophone, which is the sort of underwater listening device. And it only works if we are at periscope depth. It doesn't work when we're on the surface. I mean, it works deeper than periscope depth, but it does not work on the surface.
Okay.
And so this allows us to listen for other boats to try to get a sense of where they're, what direction. And they are due north of us, it looks like. Yeah, go ahead and take a listen. So you can use the mouse to click and drag the bottom wheel to change the direction you're listening in.
Okay, so as I turn it, I hear like background noise or some kind of.
Yep. Yeah. So try turning it. Yep. There you go. Towards the north, you should hear an engine.
Okay. Is that that rumbling?
Yep. Yeah. Try turning it like far away from that and see what the background sounds like.
Real quiet.
Yep. That's sort of background ocean. If you turn it to the bottom, that is our own engine running.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I guess one quick word on the numbers. So the black outer dial reports relative bearings. So 0 is directly in front of us, 90 is to our right, 270 is to our left, 180 is behind us.
Okay.
The inner dial is magnetic compass directions, and so 0 is north, 90 is east, 180 is south, 270 is west. And so right now we are traveling north, and so they're pretty similar. The numbers look similar. But if we were to turn around and head south, the numbers would look flipped. And so whenever someone's operating the hydrophone, they have to specify what set of numbers they're using, either the relative or the magnetic. Because it's easy, like if when you make a report contact at bearing 40, for example, it can be confusing which one you mean, whether the relative or the magnetic.
So one use for this is to find out where your other player is or another ship is when you're actually listening for engine.
Yeah. In principle, you can also hear the other subs. So, yeah. So at the moment, we can hear a lot of engine sounds off to the north.
Yeah, right ahead of us.
Yep. So we're heading in the right direction. We just let me just check the gain. So yeah. So the gain setting sort of controls the amplification of the sound, and so it can be used to sort of roughly tell how far away things are. I'm gonna. It's worried about a gain of 3 to near this guy. So a gain of 3 is sort of a moderate distance, probably, I don't know, I'm going to say probably 10 kilometers.
Okay, so the gain is how much strength, how much signal you're receiving, so it's further away. So the more gain you have to get in order to hear something, how further away they are.
Yeah,
and that's how you gauge.
It's like it's kind of like a volume control, sort of. So yeah, the more you have to turn it up, the weaker the sound actually is.
And so it means that further away they are. And so as you turn, as you start turning the gain lower, and it still is moderately okay, then it means you're getting closer to your wherever the head.
Yep, exactly so. Yep. While we're here, so the other pieces of equipment, there's a record player gramophone, which lets you play music in the game, but we prefer not to use it. That gets you YouTube strikes, and Forza is streaming, so we can't use it because they have not made sure that the music in the record player is not subject to copyrights.
Okay.
Behind that, we have the Enigma machine and the telegraph for the radio. The Enigma machine is not hooked into anything and is not really used because, in principle, you can encode your messages, transmit them in code, and have the other guy decrypt them, but it takes so long to do that nobody bothers. And so we won't send a transmission out, but in principle, just to use the radio, you just click on the telegraph key and then start typing slowly. You have to wait for each letter to finish being sort of Morse coded before you type the next letter.
Okay.
There's a set of dials above that to change the receiver and transmitter channel, but we don't touch that because we don't want to have submarines on different channels. We want to be able to talk to each other.
Okay.
So we just keep everything on channel 1 for the time being. And to the right of this now, we have a radio direction finder, which is also not yet implemented in the game. They put the equipment in, but it doesn't do anything yet. So that's going to come in a future pack. And that is everything that's back here. Yeah. Okay. Let me take another quick look, make sure we're not... Oh, actually, yeah, surface the boat. Since we found our direction to target.
Surfacing the boat.
Oh, yep, convoy scene again. There we go. We're getting closer. Okay, yeah, so switch us back to surface cruise. So diesel engines and blow the...
Okay, they're full up.
Yep, diesel engines ahead full.
Diesel engines ahead full.
And can we make a left turn back to 290?
Blowing ballast tanks.
And now that we're switching to the diesels, we're picking up speed again, so we're rising about 6 knots.
Okay, ballast tanks is empty. Starting compressor.
Yeah, you can use the W key to center the rudder when you're done.
Electric controls, go to charge batteries. Diesel engines.
Yeah, you don't need to worry about... Yeah, thank you.
Ahead.
You don't need to worry about getting to the nearest, like, 10th of a degree or so. Usually within half a degree is fine. But we are drifting. Can you center the rudder using the W?
Just press
Yep.
W ward and it'll center the rudder.
Yeah, that looks good now. There we go. Yeah, convoy is now firmly in sight again. Yeah, we are good. We are cruising again.
Oh yeah, that's better. You see more of them now. I could only see one before.
Wonder why I'm still drifting. Might still.
Are you using the W key to center it?
I'm trying to, but it's not doing anything. I wonder if my controls are changed.
Okay, step away from it then.
But yeah, let's. Yeah, seems okay
Oh, it's
now.
centered. Steady now.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
We're steady on 290.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
okay.
go ahead and take a look on the observation periscope now. We've got the convoy nicely in sight, so it should be pointing right at it now.
Yep. Click left, click on the periscope, Warden, and you can have a look at all them beautiful ships we're going to sink in a minute. Or try to. I guess he's altering his key bindings.
Sorry, yeah.
Yep, so yeah,
Oh,
scroll
I
wheel,
see.
zoom in, yep. Yeah, and so I'll mention that the numbers at the top are relative bearing, so 0 is forward as before. I'll just get on the attack periscope and take a look. So what's their bearing? About 70, okay.
Yeah, 70.
Yeah, so there's a destroyer there at about 69 degrees, or that's it's an escort ship. So that's our natural enemy. That is the ship that can find us and kill us.
There's one out at 55 as well, 56 at DD.
Yep. Seen. Yep, and yeah, lots of merchants to be seen. Good. And another escort at 86. Yeah, so there's 3 escorts in sight. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess I'll put in a quick word about sort of tactical doctrine. And so our mission is to sink merchant tonnage, merchant ships. We can sink the escort ships if we want, but they're very difficult targets. And it's the escorts that are the danger to us because they have guns. So if we're on the surface, the escort ships can shoot us, and if we dive, they have their own hydrophones and sonar systems, and they have depth charges, and so they can try to destroy us while we're underwater as well.
Okay.
And so the ideal strategy is to avoid detection by the escorts, to sneak in close to the merchants, shoot the merchants with our destroyers, and then hopefully get away without being spotted. That's sort of the dream goal. And the tricky bit is that as soon as we submerge, we are slow. And so we have to plan ahead, get into a position where they're coming towards us, where we can attack, where we don't have to maneuver too quick. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. What have we not covered?
TDC.
TDC is a mess. Let's see. Anything before that? Oh, negative. We should cover the negative pressure tank here. And so standard normal dives use the normal ballast tanks to get us to get us neutral buoyancy. The negative tank is an additional tank that can be used to give us a little bit more downward negative buoyancy, so downward.
Hey Finn, how you doing, mate? Good.
And so this is normally only used for emergency dives, and we're not gonna. Well, we can demonstrate it while we're in surface cruise. So the top wheel fills it with water. So go ahead and play with that. You can turn the top. You click back into it.
Is it the negative tank vent?
Yeah,
Good,
the
good.
negative tank vent, the top red wheel. So yeah, go ahead and click on it and give it a turn with the click and drag, and it will fill the negative tank with water. And so if
Back in a minute,
the
mate.
main
We'll get
tanks
you
are
all
already filled, the net result is it pulls us down. We become heavier than water, and we start to sink reasonably quickly. And so that's good if we're in an emergency and we need to get down really quickly to avoid an enemy. And the bottom wheel, so go ahead and turn the bottom wheel now. That one puts air into the negative tank to blow out the water. And so, yeah, so let's put it back down to about 0. Yeah, and so normally this is only ever used in emergency situations. And so
Gotcha.
the captain will call emergency dive or fill negative tanks, and then you. So if that kind of order comes up, you can scramble to fill that.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. What else? So over here we have a switch for the night light, which puts us on red lighting. And red lighting is, well, it's more dramatic, primarily. It also has some advantages when you're using the periscope to make things a little bit easier to see. But otherwise, there's no significant gameplay effects. Some people claim that if you leave the hatch open with the white light on, the enemy ships might be able to see it. Yeah. All right. So yeah, we've done everything in the back. We've done all that. Yeah, we have one device here. So this is the Echo Ranger, this white box or gray box beside me here. And this uses a sonar system to measure the distance to the seafloor below us. And so it has sort of two controls. One switches between, there's a dial that switches, I think, between the 100 and the 1000 setting for shallow or deep water. And then the other one is to actually use the Echo Ranger. And it's probably safe to use right now, so go ahead.
Do the bottom one or the top?
Try the bottom one first. I think that's just the range. Yeah, that one's fine. Yeah, and so then it's either the middle or the top button that actually activates. And so this is helpful if you want to know, yeah, how deep the seafloor is. And so that went all the way around to 1000 because the seafloor is more than 1000 meters deep beneath.
Okay.
And so this is useful if you're in shallow water and you want to know how far it is to the bottom. You can use that. The danger of it is that the enemies can hear you using it.
Gotcha.
And so you have to be very careful under what conditions you use it. So now that we have used it, are any of the escorts reacting for it?
No, they're all still on their straight course.
Okay, we're at a safe enough distance then. I don't actually know at what distance they can detect it. But yeah, okay. So yeah, the only other thing worth mentioning here is on this part we have the navigation table, which gives you a map interface that you can draw lines and
Plot courses.
Cool.
yeah, that's M to get. You can actually access the basic version of that just by pressing M at any time, and that's M to get out of it as well. And so that's useful if you want to try to do like complicated calculations, planning out attack vectors and stuff. But it's for basic operations, it's not used very much. It's also useful because it can tell you the seafloor depth based on chart. And yeah, that's everything sort of in the control room that I can think of. So let's go upstairs to the conning tower. Yeah, and so once you get up close to the top, you can right-click to get off the ladder. A little bit further. Oh, yeah, a little further.
We now have 4 DDs in the here now. Where was that other one I just said? There he is there. Have 4 DDs in sight now. One at 66, 65 and a half.
Oh yeah, seen in the distance. There he is.
One at
yeah.
75. Third one is at 92, 2.5. And the fourth one is at 109.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay.
Also, so you can control the engine speed from up here as well. And
yep. So we have a second set of engine and rudder controls up here. If you're in a situation where you don't have enough manpower, you can try to run it from here while you're doing stuff with the attack periscope or the torpedoes. So it's useful sometimes if you have a limited. So yeah, so up here we have the second set of controls. We have the attack periscope, and we have the torpedo data computer. Go ahead and take a look at the attack periscope. Yeah, just click on it. And so this one has a set of controls for the height. You can use the W and S keys to move the periscope up and down. It has controllable height, so it's easier to use. And yeah, same as before, you can scroll wheel to zoom in. And yeah, so this one also has the extra feature that at the bottom you have an extra number, which is the magnetic bearing to the in the direction that you're looking. And so that's sometimes useful for mapping things to have the magnetic bearing. And so this is sort of the primary periscope used for targeting, typically, because it's also the case that the attack periscope is smaller than the observation periscope, and so it's more difficult for the enemy to see it. And so if you get like up close to the enemy, you typically use the attack periscope because it's harder for them to.
All right. Yeah, I see him. I can't tell which is which, but
Yeah. So usually the really dark ones are the escorts, and the ones that have the white superstructure are the merchant.
okay.
Yeah. Let me just take a quick look, make sure we're not going to run into anything. Oh no, we're in a good shape. We're
No,
running.
we're okay.
Yeah. We're gonna try to run in front of the convoy and then sneak into the middle of it. I think is the usual. Yeah, so maybe I'm not going to do the full torpedo data computer tutorial, I think, at the moment. We'll save that for later. But this is sort of the master control panel that sets up, that does the calculations needed to figure out how to shoot the torpedoes to hit the target. And so you have to input what direction the target is, how fast they're going, how far away they are, and then ice. Yeah, so just very briefly, so World War II submarines were armed with unguided torpedoes. So all they could do is travel in a straight line. After you would launch them, they could make one turn, which was you could program in before firing. You could program them to make one turn to a particular bearing, and then they would just go straight. And so this computer, this was sort of an electromechanical computer, would calculate what turning angle do you program into the torpedoes to head it to make it go to the target, and that includes predicting where the target is going to be at the time that the torpedo reaches it. So it's sort of an intercept solution.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so you end up with a lot of dials. It's not quite as bad as it looks, but it does take a little bit of practice, and I'll save that for later. Can we get Forrest? Can we get the nightlight? We'll go up on deck.
Yep, nightlight coming on, nightlight on.
Thank you. Because I don't want, yeah, because there are rumors that they can see the white lights. We're going to go upstairs with the red lights. Yeah. So, welcome to the deck. So let's see. So the enemy is off to our right. You can scroll wheel up for binoculars. They can be seen over there. Yeah, scan right a little more.
I see him.
Yeah. And so, yeah. So naturally, the deck is only accessible when we're on the surface. One key thing to notice is the hatch, which you're currently standing on. If the hatch is left open and we dive, the submarine will flood and we will all die.
Yeah,
So
that wouldn't be a bad thing.
One of the most critical steps when you begin a dive is to make sure that the hatch is closed. And so it's also quite common to just leave it closed when you're not actually using it, just to make sure that accidents don't happen. So up here, so yeah, the periscopes kind of stick up, but we can't interact with them up here. There's an extra set of rudder controls up here near the front if you're on the surface and want to steer. Let's see, there's a set of binoculars here that are mounted on a post called the Uzo. This is similar to a periscope that lets you look around with high magnification. And so yeah, that's Forrest turning the periscope there, making that. In the back, we have a anti-aircraft gun, which is currently not very useful because they haven't put aircraft in the game yet, but they're going to. And the main thing this is used for now is to make noise and draw escorts towards you and get you killed. So Let's not fire that. So we're not going to fire that right now. There's a small ladder on each side here of the conning tower, which takes us down onto the actual deck on the sides.
Okay.
Last message was fire at will to all boats from U-96.
Yeah, so if you step to the side of the conning tower over here, there's an extra ladder we can get down. And then at the front of the boat, we have our 88mm deck gun, which is occasionally useful if you find yourself in a situation, like, for example, if there's a merchant that has no gun of its own, that has no escort, you can just shoot that and sink it using this gun rather than using torpedoes. If you are very, very desperate, you can shoot an escort ship with it, and it shoots at you, and you hope that you kill it before it kills you, which is usually not the case. Usually the submarine loses. But in the early parts of the war against small convoys, the 88mm was actually fairly useful. But this is a late war mission today, and so we're not going to be able to use this right now.
Boats have turned, apparently.
Say again?
Boats have turned, last message said, so test cannot be concluded.
Lovely. Yeah. So the deck gun does make a very satisfying noise when you fire it. And it has a lot of impact to it. Yeah, and there's not much to be seen around the after part of the main deck. So that is the bridge. Let's head back down.
I think they have turned. I think they've turned away from us first, because I can't see them again now.
No, I can still see them. They look the same.
Really? Oh, I can see the two destroyers. I can see one. Oh, mind. Oh yeah, they're back a bit farther back behind us. I'm just watching that front DD.
And let's go back below. Oof, I've got a rather nasty rainstorm just started outside. I can hear it. It's like, what's that noise? And it's like, okay, that is like a metric ton of water crashing into my windows.
So when the hatch goes closed, it means it's closed. You ain't got to like.
There's no like extra steps. It's just a matter of closing it like you did. Yeah. So we're good now. We're at to see. I'm gonna pop on the periscope for another look. Yeah, I mean, we're getting further away from the convoy, but I don't think they've actually turned around. But we can turn in a little more aggressively. Let's turn right to course 330.
Going right to 330.
We can get rid of those red lights for the time being as well. Yeah, and so I think that is all the basic controls. So yeah, dive planes we did, helm we did. Yeah, so that's all the basics, and then stuff like torpedo stuff. Torpedo data computer we can discuss later at some point, I think. Or now, we maybe have time if you want. And then all the sort of target identification and targeting, which is sort of the captain preparation portion of things. We can also do that if you want at some point.
330 set.
Thank you. Yeah, so that was the basic operations school. So I'll leave it up to you to decide when or if you want to do the torpedo data computer school and the targeting school. That's
Okay.
And for now, we just have to try to get in front of this damn pump. Yeah, let's be aggressive about it. Turn us to 355, please.
355? Going left to 355, right rather to 355. 340. 350. 355 set.
Yeah, convoys coming back into sight again. They don't look to have turned, so I'm not sure what the other boats are panicking about. Yeah, I mean, so far it's not looking like a very exciting convoy. I'm not seeing any really big tankers yet.
Oh yeah.
Now on the hydrophone, how do you turn the degrees?
Click and drag on the bottom wheel.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. The hydrophone you won't hear anything while we're in surface cruise. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, hello.
Hey Taz, how you doing?
Going nuts.
Why is that, mate?
I got nothing better to do at the moment.
Well, launch Wolfpack and come and join us.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, don't worry.
That's all right. Neither do.
We have somebody who knows what we're doing.
Medium tanker identified.
Okay, so
Go to lobby.
in the lobby.
Yeah, find one that says ALLEG Pete, a leg Pete. You have to change it to worldwide, I think, or summit. Was it, Warden?
Yes, worldwide instead of local.
Instead of local, turn it to worldwide.
Password.
11, 22, 33, 44.
I am in.
Okay, then start the game and look for the boat that says 552.
Yeah, it's loading.
Yeah.
Yeah, first, now that you just finished showing me everything, you get to
You get to do it all over again.
tell us there is here now.
Yeah.
552.
Yeah. Click on any position. It's
I
open.
got a radio and dive officer.
Well, there you go. Click on one of them.
I'll try the dive officer. See if
Well,
I can flood the ship.
Yep.
Well, we all take. Well, it doesn't matter really because we all jump in any position when we need to.
Right. It's just a.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so anyone just grabs a spot, huh?
Yeah.
Correct.
Well, you might as well come up this way, Taz. Nothing happens down that end. Okay.
Oh, that comes a heavy tanker.
Okay. Right. Quick rundown, Taz. Rudder controls. Here.
Okay, actually, before you get too into it, can you turn us left to course 320, please?
Left to 230.
320, please.
320. Coming left to 320.
So, quick question: can you shoot someone in the back of the head in this game?
No.
Not yet.
That
There's
warden's not gonna like
a
it.
lot of requests to have that added as the sort of, kick feature to the game, but the devs haven't done that.
320 is set.
Yep.
Right, Taz. Rudder controls.
Rudder controls.
Yeah,
Dive right next to you.
Yeah. Left click the rudder controls. Okay, and that puts you on
Be right back,
in
guys.
control of the rudders. Once you're there, it's just your A and D key. And if you look to where it says rudder, the red one is left rudder going, the green one is right rudder. And the one at the top is the course. The little compass in the middle is the course thing.
Go ahead and click in and give it a try.
Yeah, go on, Taz. Just click on the rudder control. Okay, try the A and D. Yeah, okay. That moves your rudder. And to center the rudder after you've done a turn, once you've got it back to 0, just press W. And that centers the rudder.
Okay, and I'm assuming the direction straight top is
That's your course, yeah.
Yeah, the outer wheel is the tens digit, and the inner wheel is the singles digit.
I see the mark on it now.
Yeah, let's turn left to 310, please.
Boy, they do make this thing difficult. Okay, 310.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then
thank
press W, and that centers your rudder. Then you haven't got to keep adjusting it then. Okay.
Controls.
This one here is the knots, the speed of the boat. As we're on the surface at the moment, it's 18 knots. Once we dive below the water, we'll get down to about 7 knots.
Right.
Yeah. This one up here is the engine controls.
Oh, they're all right on top of each other. Okay.
Yeah. So at the moment we're running on diesel engines.
Charging.
Yeah. Get back there. So if you want to click on them for a minute.
Okay.
Yep. So now you just, if you left shift and just go, say, go to half speed with it.
Yeah, just click on the word.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. And when we dive, we go to electric engines, which is the one next to the stop sign at the bottom.
see.
That's for when we're underwater. So we normally go, once we start to dive, we normally go to electric engines and then to half speed. Because if we go full speed with the electric engines, we've only got about 15 minutes. After that, we're dead in the water.
Right.
And what we normally do every time we surface, we go back to diesel engines, we go to charge batteries. To charge our batteries back up, ready for the next disappearance trip under the water.
Lower right hand, I'm assuming, is the battery charge?
Yeah.
Yep.
Where it says charge batteries.
No, the lower right hand says kiloamp hours.
Yep, that's the battery meter.
So when that's maxed out, the batteries are charged?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we're in good shape now. We're maxed out.
Okay. The dive planes are here.
Yes.
So if you click on the button, click on them, you'll find that it's W and D again for the one side, and your arrow keys on your number pad, up and down, left and right, those ones.
A and D for the forward plane.
A and D.
Yeah, go ahead and give it a try. It doesn't do much on the surface.
Yeah, are the hatches closed?
Yep, hatch is closed.
So to dive the plane, you just press W. That's it. That takes you down. It's the same on the other one.
It's left and right to just the planes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So A and D, interesting.
Yeah. And so if you look in front of you, you've got two big gauges.
Right.
Once you start to dive, the one nearest your left side, we normally like to get that down to between 11 and 13. That's the periscope depth.
Ah, okay.
So we try to level out at about 13. Between there. Once we start to go decks awash and that kind of thing.
Alright, and it looks like you got the RPMs for the engines here too.
Yes. We have.
Interesting.
What do you want now? We've got the water. Okay.
The ballast controls.
Yeah, so let's... Yeah. Shall I take over, maybe? Yeah, so right now we are in surface cruise mode, so we are positively buoyant. We're, riding on the surface of the water.
Right.
In order to
Compressor's recharged.
Sorry, say again?
Compressed air is recharged.
Yep, compressed air is at full. And so in order to dive, we need to first make the boat neutrally buoyant. And so that's done by filling the two main ballast tanks. And the controls to let water into the ballast tanks are these big red wheels at the front and at the back of the control.
Okay.
So let's do a practice dive, actually. So go ahead and open the forward and aft ballast. So you can just click on them to open. Okay, and click on the ones in the back as well.
Sure, make you run everywhere.
Yeah.
This is open.
We have water from... And so if we come back to the gauges for the ballast tanks now, you'll see that the lower left and lower right dials are increasing as water flows into the tank.
Right.
And so when those are full, we are neutrally buoyant.
Okay, and then you can use the drive planes to go down.
Yeah. So yeah, it takes about 30 seconds or so for the tanks to fill. And once they are full of water, you can then close the vent valve.
Right.
So yeah, go ahead and close the forward vent.
U552, what is your grid reference and position?
And yeah, I'll transmit in a couple. Can we turn left to course 290?
Left 290.
Yep. Okay, so we are now neutrally buoyant, so we can now dive anytime we want. Before we do that, we need to switch to the electric, because these require air to operate. So yeah, you can go ahead and change the engine controls. So switch both engines to electric. and then back to half speed. Yep, good. So we're now at half speed ahead, and the engine's electrics will kick on. And now you can use the planes to take us down. So yeah, down on both forward and aft planes.
What, the ballast tanks? Finn?
I'm assuming I'm diving, but I'm not sure.
Here.
It takes a second for them to start to bite.
These two gauges here, they fill up to 50. Once they're filled, yeah, once you open the ballast tanks at the front and the back, these gauges start to fill up to 50. And once they're full, you can go and close the valves up.
Right.
There we go. Now they're starting to bite. We're down below 7
And
meters.
if I go back here, they say closed already. So
Now, is it having them angled down the correct way?
Yep, those are good. Yep, so we can keep going, passing 9 meters. So once we hit about 11, you can level off the planes.
And the whole looks like the whole ship's tipping.
yeah, because we're going down. You're welcome, mate.
Yeah, and we've pretty much leveled off at just under 11 meters now. Very good. And so this is about the height at which the periscope operates, both periscope.
Right.
Yep, so yeah, I've got the observation periscope up. Let's see, where are they now?
Sorry about that, guys. I'm back.
Yep, no worries. Oh, yeah, there they are. So yeah, okay, planes look to be okay. We're rising. So
We're rising.
Yeah, you've got to keep the plane.
Down planes,
Go
down
back
planes.
down again.
Yeah, so the boat tends to be a little unstable at periscope depth. So yeah, you can go aggressively on the planes. You can go all down even.
So really, when you're diving, you got to constantly keep this station manned.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not so bad. Like, yeah, 11 meters is bad. 12 meters is a little safer. It's not quite so much trouble.
Interesting. So even though you're neutrally buoyant, you still don't zero it out.
Well, you can do once you get to a certain depth, it'll sit there. But I was trying to leave it on one on both planes, and just keep your eye on the gauge in front of you. If it starts to go up too high, just push them back up. Don't worry, Taz. We've all been there, mate, and surfaced the boat when we think we're okay. We've got it down on got it under the water.
Yeah, as long as they don't put it on the floor.
Oh no, put it on the floor's all right. Doesn't damage it.
Yeah, damage from impacting the sea bottom isn't implemented yet. Although, so in this mission, we're in the Atlantic, in the open Atlantic, where the depth is about 2,000 meters, and we can't dive that deep. So we reach crush depth at about 240, 250 meters.
Okay. Okay, so left dial is
Yeah, so left dial is the shallow depth meter from 0 to 25, and the far right one is the deep depth meter, which goes from 0 to 200.
right. Got it.
And there's also, like, in the middle, that red column, that sort of thermometer-like thing, is also a shallow depth gauge, and that shows you your depth relative to the where the attack periscope can go. So the attack periscope can go up to about 14 and a half meters. But yeah, okay, I think we're in good shape. So let's surface the boat by going all up on plane. There we go. So yeah, surfacing is about 7 or 6 meters, so we are now surfaced, so we can level out the planes again. And we can switch back to the diesel engines. And put us on charged batteries. And then full ahead. Yep, perfect. And so yeah, from the battery meter you can see we're down to about 8.6 kiloamp hour.
Yeah, blow the ballasts or leave them.
Say again?
Load the ballasts or leave them.
Yeah. So click on the ballasts controls here, and the main red wheel you can sort of click and drag it to open the wheel.
I'm going to blow the ballast tanks now, the one I showed you, Finn, that we filled.
Yeah, that'll let air back into the tanks and vent all the water out.
And you see, blowing the water back out now. Okay, one more thing to do, Taz. Now that we're on the surface, come to the back of the boat. Here we have the compressor. Toggle on or off.
Yes.
Toggle him on. Okay. This side, look, we have 2 gauges, 2 pressure gauges.
Yes, sir.
When it reaches 200, we can turn the compressor off.
Okay.
This one down here is the bilge pumps.
Alright.
Once we get down to about 150 feet, you'll notice the boat will start to leak. And that fills the bilges up, but we don't turn that on until we're back on the surface.
Okay.
Starting that up when you're underwater is the biggest no-no on this boat. Bar for diving with the hatch open, of course.
I was going to say, I thought that was the worst.
Hey?
Shooting the deck gun when you're not supposed to is probably the biggest no-no.
Yeah, that'll get you kicked straight away. And if you want to see the convoy, you can look through this periscope.
Yeah, go ahead and take a look.
Tazzy's gone upstairs.
That's the other option.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go up to the bridge.
Yeah. Going up on deck.
Gotta get the full experience here.
Yeah, so the convoy should be off to our right. You can scroll wheel up to get binocular.
Not seeing anything.
Scan right. And right.
Without
I got him. Destroyer.
Scanning.
Okay, I see it now.
There should be some merchant ships behind him. There they are, back near the back of the boat.
Okay, I see the merchant ships.
Yep. So you